This week I'm going to be showing you guys how to make some quick color swatches in Photoshop. As you can see here, I have up the template that I put in the course announcements. This is just an example of some work the student submitted for this assignment a couple quarters ago. As you can see, it's not complicated, but as you also can see, everything is nicely lined up, very polished and professional looking, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Your end result will be in Word. As you can see, I have it open in Photoshop. That's only because I exported it as a JPEG and opened it inside Photoshop, but again, your final result will be in Microsoft Word. Just to make this a little bit more interesting, what I'm going to do is you can pick any 10 colors that you'd like, but just for fun, I'm going to show you how to kind of take colors from an image. I found this lovely picture of a waterfall here, and I'm going to show you how to sample some colors from this. The main tool you'll be using is the Eyedropper tool. So once you have that, you can see your icon will change, and you can just click anywhere in an image at a color that you like. When you click on it, you can see your foreground color will change, and I'm going to double click on it, and it's going to bring up this color picker window, right? That's fine. Now that we have that color, I'm going to create a new document, and this document is the same document I'm going to use to export all of my color swatches so I can make sure that they're the right size. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch it over to inches. Oops. And I'm going to make it 1 inch by 1 inch. And it doesn't really matter, but I'm just going to set it to 300 for now. And I'm going to hit OK. Now that I have this, you can see it just makes a little square. I'm going to take excuse me, the paint bucket tool, and what that will do is it will, wherever I click on the document, it will fill it with the foreground color, which, as you can see here, is still the color that I picked. So what I'm going to do is just make a new layer, and I'm going to click on that right there. As you can see in the layer window, it gave me a new layer. If I double click on the name, I can rename it, and I'm just going to call this one Waterfall. And then what I can do from here is I want to save this as an image. I can do that now. Another thing I could do is just to kind of keep making layers for myself. I'm going to create a new layer, go find another color, again using the Eyedropper tool, clicking somewhere else on the image. You can see it changes my foreground. I'm going to switch back over to my document and make sure it's on a new layer, and I'm going to dump that in. And as you can see, it's creating layers for each of my colors. We'll call this one Moss. So now you can see this is kind of what I want to do to go through and make my 10 colors. You can choose colors from an image like I'm doing, excuse me, or you could also just open up your color palette, which looks like a old-fashioned artist palette right here, and you can go through and kind of create your own colors, right? And when you do that, you can see that it's going to change my foreground color again. Oops. So I can create a new layer, switch over to paint bucket tool, and click on it, and then it just adds it in. I'll call this lavender. Sometimes you may not see the paint bucket tool. It might be hiding behind the gradient tool. To change it, you just hold down on it, and then you let go on the paint bucket tool. Once you have all the colors you'd like, you can go to File, Save As, and then just find a place that you want to store all these swatches. I should have a folder called Swatches right here. Just save it as a JPEG. As you can see, I already have a bunch in here, and just name it something accordingly and hit save. You'll get the all too familiar dialog box. Quality at 12 is fine. Since we'll be embedding this in a Word document, it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to hit OK. Now for part 2, this will be working in Word. First, we want to get your title on there, creating, and oops. 2 and start my name. And just for the sake of kind of making it a little bit nicer looking, let's just throw some titles on there. Then what we're going to do is we want to create a table that we can lay out all our colors in. So I am going to go to Insert, Table, where are you? There you are. And this might differ based on which version of Word you're using, but all of them will have a table function. So let's do 5 by 2, which will hold all 10 of your colors. Now we can start placing our color swatches. So once you click on a field, you can see my cursor is in there. I can just go to Insert, Picture, and then what I want to do is browse to where I saved all those swatches, and just click Insert. And once I do that, it's going to put that image right there. What I want to do now is just put the name of the color right next to it. And then I can just continue to place all the other swatches. And then when I'm done, what I want to do is I want to select all the fields in the table, and what I want to do is this little icon here is going to change the border of my table, and just click to no border. What that'll do is just make those invisible so it'll look nice, clean, and polished. So then yes, you would just kind of continue and fill in your swatches, and that'll be it. Again, since this is a relatively simple assignment in terms of technology, what I'm going to be looking at is how clean, polished, and professional it looks.